know what you're gonna say. Nobody cares that you're not gonna watch The Last of Us, and you're just another guy on the internet who feels so entitled to let everybody know about all of his opinions. And yes, you're right, but this is my channel, so I'm gonna say what I want. But believe it or not, the reason I'm making this video is not because I love hating on everything. It's because I am genuinely passionate about great stories and media, and I hate to see movies and shows like The Last of Us continue to be made. And when I say that, I'm talking about remakes and adaptations. If the original The Last of Us never existed, maybe this show would be alright, and maybe I would like it, but I don't. Let me explain why. I think the entire concept of this show and remakes in general is just so incredibly flawed, to the point where all remakes are destined to A. have very little value as media, B. fail to do justice to their source material, and C. simply be bad and uninspired. And the driving factor for all of that comes down to one thing, but possibly the most important thing in any story: characters. If I was to bring up the fact that the performances for Joel and Ellie in the original games could never be recreated by the cast of the show, a fan of the show might tell me that that isn't the point, that the current cast isn't trying to recreate those performances, but deliver great performances of their own. Except, even if the current cast were delivering great performances, it still wouldn't matter because they're trying to be something that they aren't. But wait, Mr. YouTuber, the show isn't trying to be exactly like the games, it's trying to provide its own take on the story. That is one of my least favorite things to hear, and it makes no sense. People say it all the time when it comes to these kinds of shows, that it's a new take on an already completed story. Bogus. Not because a new take isn't possible, but because a new take undermines and disrespects the source material. What makes The Last of Us The Last of Us is the fact that it is a game, and the fact that it tells its story through that medium. Not to mention the characters and actors in the original game, who already told the story perfectly, only for their characters to be dismantled and mocked by a show that was made for profit, are too good for any remake. Why couldn't they just make a new story with new characters and everything, but set in the same universe? Actually, I know why, and it's because it's easier to just leech off of something else and try to make it again your own way than to actually create something original and unique and of value, because that requires competence. A remake is a mockery of an original story. It steals its name, its characters, nearly everything about it, but presents it in a new way, usually on purpose. I wish people wouldn't be so naive to fail to see the issue in that. Let me try to explain it in a simpler way, focusing on characters. Imagine if somebody was making a remake of you specifically, except you look different, you sound different, you have different mannerisms and expressions, you sometimes act different, and even more. Is that still you? No, it's not. And even if it's quite similar to you in certain ways, it can't claim to be you. Even the smallest things help define a person, which is why you can't just take a whole new actor and a whole new medium for storytelling and try to create the same character that's already been played and had those small details defined by another actor. But that is all I'm going to say for now. Please let me know what you think of this show in the comments, and feel free to flame me for any of my objectively correct opinions. There's a lot more I could say about this, not just this show in general, but just remakes and other stuff like that. So if you want to see more of that, please let me know. But if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Consider dropping a like and a sub, and until next time.